What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today, Juventus pulled out the victory 2-0, or I guess 0-2 if they're on the road. Whatever, I never am good with doing the order of arrangements. Usually it's the victor over the loser, whatever have you. Anyway, they win 2-0 against Bologna in the Derby D. I can't see shit through the fog in Bologna. Let's just rate the players now. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofrio. Today is December 18th, 2021. It is a Saturday, and we're breaking down all the performances that we had from the players in today's match that was against Bologna. Before we do that, though, let's just go ahead and get you, we have to do these little bits that we have to do before we do anything every single time. You should know if you're new here, or if you're not new here. But if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We want to have you join the community that we're starting here, as well as hit that the bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Final notice, I believe Monday the 20th. Today's December 18th. I guess maybe you'll see this on the 19th. Monday the 20th will be the day that we're announcing the winner of the Juventus free official Juventus shirt. Like I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're watching our videos. If we're doing a live, make sure you're checking into that live, because that might be where we're giving it away. Also, make sure you're following us on all of our social media. Myself at Justin Sofer on Twitter, Bianconerizone at Bianconerizone on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. But anyway, we'll be giving away a free Juventus shirt. You get to pick. Do you want the home? Do you want the away? Do you want the third? Whatever have you, whatever name's on there, as long as Juventus allows it. Because I know there's some names and ideas and stuff that you guys can come up with that, let's be honest, the old lady may not approve of it. All right, let's just go ahead and get into the ratings of what we saw from the match against Bologna that Juventus won 2-0. All right, first player up that I have for you, of course, we're always going to start with the goalkeeper, and that's Moise Kean. I gave him a 6.5 rating overall, had a solid performance, of a couple of decent stops there, especially given, I talked about it a little bit, but I got to be honest, I don't know about you guys, I couldn't see anything in this match. Half the time, I had to switch it. For most of the time, I was watching it on my TV, which is, it's a 65-inch TV, I should be able to see the players, right? With this fog, it was like watching ghosts out there, especially in the white, and then the ball. Half the time I lose where the ball is. It's a mess. So you may disagree with me with some of my ratings. Maybe I didn't see half of it. But then I had to switch over to my phone for a short period of time. And if you think it's hard watching on a TV, try watching it on a cell phone and try to figure out what's going on there on your iPhone or whatever. Anyway, I gave him a 6.5 rating. I think he had a couple pretty decent stops there, especially given the whole period between the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, where Juventus just didn't show up, just kind of laid an egg there, just waited. They got that 1-0 up early thanks to Morata and Bernardeschi's heroics over there. And they were like, they did what Juventus does. They just sit back and wait. Thankfully, he got those stops. What he did today, he had 3 saves, 1 successful run out, 2 saves from inside the box. He had 6 accurate long balls and 1 ground duel, 1 as well. So good performance from CHESNEY. Long way from feeling the way that we felt in the beginning of the season. At least that's how I personally feel. All right, next up we got to talk about our second goal scorer of the day, and that's Juan Cuadrado. Give Panita his credit. He had a chance to have 2 goals by the end of the match, and for being honest, I gave him a 6.5 rating overall. He had 1 goal, 5 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception. 4 ground duels, 1 aerial duel, 1 did lose possession 20 times, so you gotta think about that a little bit. 2 key passes, 1 accurate cross, and 9 accurate long balls. Got to get those crosses up, though, for being honest, because I expect that out of Juan Cuadrado. It's just, unfortunately, you're one of our best creators. You got to be able to do that more often. Of course, I give everybody a little bit of slack, though the performances weren't as neat and tidy as I'd like them to be. 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 2 successful dribbles, and 1 big chance missed. Especially, if you were watching there at the end, it could have been 3-0. Unfortunately, I guess it was a pretty good save, really, from the goalkeeper there to end up saving that, because otherwise I thought Juan almost assuredly had that extra second goal. All right, next up is the Capitano, and that is Leonardo Bonucci. Got to talk about his ratings for today. I gave him a 6.5 rating overall. The defense really right now, and I guess this isn't really that surprising, because I guess it's kind of what you expect when you have Max Allegri come in and do what he does with Juventus. But the defense has definitely been carrying this squad moving forward. The offense, when I get to them, we'll talk about the attack here in a little bit. Let's see. He had 6 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception, 2 aerial duels, 1. He had 3 accurate long balls. And yeah, overall solid performance from Leonardo Bonucci. Not too. I mean, there were moments there, though, when I have to say it was definitely this next guy and 10 other dudes, and it's like nobody knew what was going on. So let's just go ahead and move on to him and give him his credit, and that's Matthijs de Ligt. Matthijs de Ligt I give him a 7 rating overall. He was equally one of our best players of the match today. Just the way that he was playing on defense, guy that you can really rely on. I had to walk back a little bit of what I said before. There were times before where I said, I don't know if this guy is Capitan, I don't know why I said it that way, Captain Material. I take that back. He's definitely proved it in my eyes. Not that it matters what I think, but I've really enjoyed what I've seen from Matthijs de Ligt. I think he's the most reliable player, most consistent player. Even when he has a bad game, it's not nearly as bad as the rest of what you get, especially in the midfield. And right now, it's the attack. I don't know what's worse right now, the attack or the midfield. Okay, moving on, or not moving on, but he had 2 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 interception, 2 tackles, 2 ground duels, 1, 2 aerial duels, 1. Only lost possession 5 times. That's what I'm talking about. Compared to Juan C over there, of course, they're playing a little bit of a different game there. I guess tactics there. 1 accurate long ball as well from Matthijs de Ligt. So to me, I think he's probably my player of the match. If not, it may be surprisingly one guy in our attack. We'll see. Let's move on, though. We got to talk about Luca Pelligrini, who's really been stepping it up here lately. Not his best match. Let's be clear. Not the best match that he ever had for his season. But overall, Luca Pelligrini, I've been happy with what I've seen from him overall. He gets a 6 rating. He was probably the weakest element of the defense. But again, it ain't nothing compared to what the rest of the other bits of the team have got going on. He's got 2 clearances, 1 tackle, 1 ground duel, 1 aerial duel, 1 did lose possession 17 times as well. That's a big one. 1 accurate long ball and 1 shot off target as well. And then, of course, a nice little argument there where he's not taking anybody flopping on his watch. And I enjoyed watching him argue with the ref, but also with the player who did that. And I'm misplacing the name right now. Moving on, let's go to Weston McKennie. The Americano came back finally from his injuries. Good to see him come back. I thought he wouldn't honestly come back until after the winter break was over, so he's back. A little rusty, but nothing too bad. I think overall there were plenty. Let's be honest. Not too bad as in they won the game. They won 2-0, but at the same time, this Juventus still is struggling. Especially, like I said, during 2/3 of the match, or maybe a little bit less, so whatever you want to say, that whole middle portion. Juventus, okay, let's just go into it now. I was going to get into it when we talked about Allegri. Let's just say this. Weston McKennie gets a 6 rating from me, 1 key pass, 2 successful dribbles, 5 ground duels, 1, 2 aerial duels, 1, 1 clearance, 2 block shots, 1 interception, and 3 tackles. So pretty solid contribution there from him. But here's what I was really trying to get to. When it comes to this team and the squad, the way that they played today, what I really saw from the squad was almost, and let me know if you disagree or agree with me, it felt like they were playing the anti-Juve game, if this makes sense, where Bologna, for long stretches of this match, just kind of dominated possession, dominated attack. They were getting plenty of shots. They were getting plenty of shots on target, too. They were winning the possession for most of the, like I said, that whole middle portion of the game. And they were doing the anti-Juve, or Juve was doing the anti-Juve thing, where Juve was not getting many shots. Usually, if you look at the score sheet by the middle of the game and the end of the match, you see Juventus has like 20-something, shots or whatever, and then how many shots on target or whatever have you to get 1 or 2 goals. That was Bologna this time around. I don't know, I'm being a little bit inflated with my numbers. I don't have them right in front of me right now. But that's what it was, at least at halftime. And out there through the middle, and Juventus only had a handful there. Maybe not a drastic difference between the two, but they were playing the opposite of Juve's game. Juve's game is usually keep peppering it with shots, and you're missing a lot, and you're usually not getting them, and then you have the other team come in, get 1 or 2 good looks, and then they kill you there. So give credit to Juventus. They did the opposite. It worked out well. You got the 2 that you needed. Could have had 3, really, if we're being honest. But anyway, happy with the win is a win. Let's move on, though, and talk about... Now we got to talk a little bad today. And that is Arthur Melo. He gets a 5 rating from me overall today's performance. Before I really get into like the issue with him, I'll just give you some of his stats. He had 1 key pass, 5 accurate long balls, 1 ground duel 1, 1 aerial duel 1, 1 clearance, 1 interception. Not a lot going for him, but to be honest, my main issue with him is it's becoming more and more apparent, unfortunately, because I'll be honest, I liked Arthur. I thought he could do some solid things. I was really open to see him and Locatelli really get some time together to see how they play and if they can develop some kind of chemistry there. Doesn't feel like it's going to happen. I feel like more and more likely the reason for this seems to be, I think, maybe Allegri kind of knew this going into it, which was just kind of like his pace of play does not fit Allegri's style. It doesn't fit Allegri's style. It doesn't fit what this team does. He needs a team with an overall slower pace of play. My man out there looks like the tortoise in the hare out there, watching him play. Some of his moves can be really good, though. He's really good at getting the ball back or whatever have you. But the problem is he's just so slow moving and trying to get and creating anything and getting anything happening that by the time that he's collected himself and start making his progressions or going through his progressions, the next thing you know, like everybody else is already caught up and everybody else, the defense has, been able to resume marking their man or whatever they have you. There's just nothing going, if that makes sense. I apologize. I know some of my terminology isn't the clear, so I'm working with what I got. But anyway, that's my main thing. And my biggest gripe when it comes to Arthur, he's just a step slower than what Juventus really needs. That's why guys like Weston McKennie can be a little bit more successful in the system than Arthur, because Weston McKennie has got that hype, the whatever you want to say, the grinta, what's the word I'm going for? The hustle that we use here in America. I say hustle a lot. He's the guy who's constantly hustling. He's a bulldog going back and forth, left and right as fast as possible, trying to collect balls, trying to do whatever. You're not getting that from Arthur. Arthur's a little bit more of a stylistic kind of game, and it doesn't really fit with what Allegri's doing. So, unfortunately, I think it's becoming more and more apparent that Arthur is his days are numbered, and I think maybe we'll see something happen here in the January Mercado. All right, let's move on, though. We got to talk about Rbio. Another not great performance there in the midfield. Rbio, I gave him a 5 overall rating. It was just more of a kind of a no-show kind of game. Also, it's Rbio being Rbio, for being honest. Not the Rbio that I liked the end of the season, the last couple seasons Rbio, the early mid-season Rbio. He had 2 key passes, no accurate long balls, no accurate crosses, 2 shots on target. So I only read those off when it's like 0-4. So many. I'm not just picking on them just to pick on them, just so you guys know. But I read off those stats whenever it's like 0-4, however many. 4 successful dribbles, 2 shots on target, 6 ground duels, 1, 4 aerial duels, 1, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, and 2 tackles as well. Again, just Rbio being Rbio, not Juve quality, unfortunately. What else more is there for me to say? Let's move on. We got Bernardeschi. We can talk about him. He gets a 6.5 rating overall from me for his performance today. Got to give him a lot of credit. It was a beautifully delivered ball there for Alvaro Morata at opening the scoring for the match today. This is what you need to see from him. Am I ready to bend the knee and say that give him the money that that he's asking for? No, I'm not. Just to be clear, let's not blind ourselves with one little event happening, because the problem is he restarted the match really well in delivering that ball, delivering that assist to Morata. The problem is, what did he do the rest of the game? What did he do? What did he really contribute the rest of the game? That's the thing. You can't just show up for the first 6 minutes or however many minutes it took to score and then just take it easy the rest of the match. That's how you end up blowing games in the future, and that's one reason why I'm not as hype for Bernardeschi as some guys may be. Again, I like to see that we're actually seeing some effort, some contributions from him, some meaningful contributions from Bernardeschi, but I got to see more. I need more to really, especially for a guy who's, they're looking at maybe even going to 3 million euros. 2 million should be tops, honestly. If you like, Alejandro brought up a good point when we were doing our review of the game. And he was talking about how, do you realize Locatelli's only getting paid like 3, or maybe not even that, or whatever he's getting paid is like 3. He's not even making 4. So if you're paying Bernardeschi 4, that's a bit ridiculous. And no offense, this isn't seniority. This is not you're not working labor on the line, if you will. You're not working at, and I'm talking about like at a factory line. Is just being the oldest guy there doesn't get you paid. That shouldn't be it. Anyway, 1 assist, 1 shot on target, 2 successful dribbles. He had 1 key pass, 2 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 2 ground duels, 1 aerial duel, 1 clearance, and 1 interception. So 6.5 rating overall from Bernardeschi. Let's move it on to Alvaro Morata. He was right there with Matthias de Ligt for me, and I love to see Alvaro Morata have these matches. I'm not bought in on the Morata for the future. They need to buy him or anything like that. Let's be clear. But he had a game that you need to have Morata to have. He was playing very, very well for Juventus. Problem is he's not consistent. He's not consistently going to show up and be this player for the club. He gets a 7 rating for me, though, playing 85 minutes. He has 1 goal, 1 assist to set up there for Juan Cuadrado. He had 2 shots on target, 1 shot blocked, 1 successful dribble, 2 key passes, 2 ground duels, 2 aerial duels, 1 offsides, of course, because he's Alvaro Morata. So I have to call that out anytime it's Morata. I'm going to say it. He had 2 clearances as well. So again, solid performance from my Morata, definitely finishing on that goal, starting off the scoring, making them feel a little bit more comfortable there. Once you get on the board early, always helps, as long as they're not slouching there later. All right, let's move on though from Morata and let's go on to Moise Kean, which is probably my worst player in the match, and he gets my least valuable player. Gosh, it's just so upsetting for what I expect from Moise Kean coming into the season. And again, he's still young. He's still got a lot of chances and opportunities to develop and grow. But he's just not there yet. It's just not clicking. It's not working. He's not, whatever it is that he needs to do, that killer instinct's just not there. And that's what worries me. It's something about that. He's one of those players that slow plays it a little bit more than I was expecting from him. I thought he'd have the killer instinct there to go after balls and do that, but it just hasn't been there. Let's see. His stats. Yeah, he only played. I mean, he played 71 minutes. Never mind. I can't give him that excuse. 0 out of 2 successful dribbles, 1 accurate cross, 1 accurate long ball, 1 ground duel, 1. Yeah, that was it. That's it. 71 minutes, and he was basically non-existent. I'll be honest. I forgot that he was playing. The only thing I remember is that he was celebrating with Morata and jumping on his back, and that's about it. So that's my biggest problem with Moise Kean, is you can't be a top tier attacker, or you can't want to be that and just be anonymous the whole match. And I understand it was foggy, so you couldn't see anything. But my guy, you can't just be invisible the entire match. 71 minutes is a bit ridiculous. Hopefully he can do a bit more in the future. I understand he's still coming off an injury. But you got to figure this out. You got to figure it out quick, because Juventus needs guys to be a bit more reliable there. All right, now we're moving into the substitutes. There were 5 substitutes, but really only 2 of them played more. If you get subbed in after the 70th minute, I usually don't give a rating unless you do something really remarkable, just because I don't feel like it's fair enough to give them enough time for that rating. So that means the next ones we'll be going with are Alexandria. He gets a 6 rating from me, subbing in for Luca Pelligrini. 1 interception, 1 tackle, 2 ground duels, 1 aerial duel, 1 key pass, and 1 accurate long ball as well. Solid enough performance from Alexandria. What else is there to say there? And then Manuel Locatelli came in as well around the same time. He contributed 2 accurate long balls, 1 aerial duel, 1, and that was about it. So 6 ratings from me. They were decent. they were solid. I don't really have a lot to really say about them, but I do have a little bit to say about this guy. And that's why I was just more trying to get to this than anything. And let's talk about Max Allegri. He gets a 6 rating from me today. Give him his credit. They won the match. Solid for Juventus. It's more of the same. And it's more of the same. It's frustrating. But like, what's the plan here? What's the plan at Juventus? What's the strategy? We're about halfway through the season now. By January, February, I want to see some plan. I want to see what you're working with, what you're trying to do. Mostly on the offensive end. And I understand when you bring in Max Allegri, we talked about it all last season, and I'm okay with this. I'm content with this of winning 1-0 every match. I'm okay as long as you're winning and it's a 1-0 match every time. That's okay. I expected to have some bit of an anemic offense, and I understand. Right now, you're without guys like Federico Chiesa, Paulo Dybala, Danilo's out. Not that he's an offensive threat. Aaron Ramsey, you're out, but you're without the big guns and Federico Chiesa and Paulo Dybala, and then you really need to bring in a solid attacker, number 9, a Vlahovic guy. We'll see if that happens. But right now, what is the game plan offensively? Like, what is your what do y'all do in training? Like, what's going on? Because like I trust in your defense. I trust in it, especially when you got guys like Matthias de Ligt, Leonardo Bonucci, Chiellini, Cuadrado. Cuadrado is not maybe your top defender, but you know what I mean. When Danilo's healthy, and when you have guys like that, look at Pelligrini even lately, are stepping up and they're reliable. Midfield's its own problem. It's been a problem for years. But dear Lord, the attack now, it's not even reliable. And I understand you lose Ronaldo, and he's just kind of like maybe everybody just leaned into him and just relied on him. But what are we doing? Do you work on it? Do you work on the attack? Or are we just kind of like rolling the balls out there? And they say this for a lot of sports. A lot of coaches get criticism of this. But it's kind of like my honest feeling. It's like, what do you all just roll it out there? And whatever comes to you, comes to you. I don't see that you're working on, any kind of specific tactics and creating like, oh, here's, I don't know exactly if you like run plays in this instant or however you have to do that like that. But what's going on? Who is the, do you need to bring in another guy, like another coach, another staff member who's really just focused in on, the attack and arranging guys in proper way and proper function? Do you need a better leader there? What's going on? That's the one thing that's frustrating to me is just still, and I understand you're winning 2-0. You probably would have won 3-0. Justin, what are you complaining about? It's Bologna. Let's be honest. It's Bologna. We just came off of Venezia. What happened there? Honestly, if Juventus just capitalizes on a couple of these opportunities, Venezia, Udinese at the beginning of the season, these matches that they lose or drop points against that they really shouldn't be doing. Juventus would be in a way better. We would be way less nervous right now. But also, right now, the Serie A is coming in there, and they're giving Juventus a lifeline. Like they're begging Juventus just to go win and to still finish top 4. Napoli's doing it. Napoli's on a big slide. They're going to play Milan tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this video. So there's plenty of opportunities there to come in and try to get that 4th spot, or honestly, even higher. We're not talking about the top yet, but you know what I'm saying? Like, there's opportunities to get points and opportunities to close this gap. You've got to be able to do it. You've got to have an offensive threat there to capitalize in these moments. So that's my main thing. What are we doing here? What's the plan for that going forward? I'd like to see just something. Just give me anything at this point. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion, my thoughts when it comes to Max Allegri and the way he's done this so far. But 6 rating because I appreciate the 3 points. All right, guys. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on my ratings for the players? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, like I said, make sure you follow us on all of our social media. Listen in the graphic as well as the description down below. I'm at Justin Sofer on Twitter, then at Bianconeri on every other thing that we have going out there, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Anyway, also make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you watch out on Monday. I'm letting you know this is your last reminder. Remember, Monday, you got to be there so that way hopefully you can end up winning that for Juventus jersey. I would love if you be the one to win it. Generic name of the guy who I just said who's watching this video. Anyway, I appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. We'll see you next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.